Welcome. Wherever you are, this is your most enlightening, educative, informative, and engaging program, The Agenda. It is time for us to have another important discourse on this platform at this point in time. It is a conversation that must be had about the generational shift that has come to be. What are the young people across nations doing, particularly the nation Nigeria? It is instructive that in today's conversation, we are asking the question about not too young to run. Not too young to run for elective office. Not too young to occupy the highest office in the land. Not too young to advance the office of the citizen. My name is Abiodun Famujuro. Welcome to The Agenda. Today, we have with us in our studios, engaging virtually wherever he is, a union activist, someone passionate about nationhood, about the subject of leadership and young people. Oluyi is his name, and he's joining us for this important discourse on not too young to rule. Oluyi, welcome.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
It is our pleasure, more importantly, to have you here. I am very much aware that you belong to a political party, and I know that you're a young person. I admire the cap you're wearing. So let's dive into it without taking much of our time. The Not Too Young to Rule bill was passed in 2018. It has become a law. Tell us more about this bill, or tell us more about this law and the position and what it offers for young people.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure having me today to talk on this. Like you have said during your introduction, the Not Too Young to Run bill came into existence as a result of the fact that the young people, which I also find myself as a member of that category of personalities in Nigeria, so to say, felt cheated over time. That the age range at which the constitution stipulates at which you can run for a political office never guaranteed them, and they felt the young people has the enablement, they have the capability to deliver on what we believe could push our country forward. And in 2017, the movement started like a wildlife in Nigeria, from the southwest to the southeast to the south-south to the northwest, north central, and northeast. That's a sixth geopolitical zone in Nigeria, where young minds actually came together and feel there is need for us to chart a way forward. And kudos to the then National Assembly that felt important for them to actually assented to this bill. And kudos to also President Mahmoud Buhari, who also deemed it fit to sign it into law, which after this bill was signed into law and come into enactment, it gave opportunity for younger generation to come out to exercise their franchise as a Nigerian, to contest and jostle for position of authority. And without missing words, you would have seen the turn from after this assent of this bill, at which you have at least few number of younger people coming into position of authority today. At least a quite example of them is in the Southwest. We have the youngest speaker, which we don't need to mention. You know it. In the Southwest, we also have the youngest member of House of Assembly, which has never happened since the coming back of this Fourth Republic of our democratic settings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oluyi. I need to ask you a question. It's not hilarious, but it's a very disturbing question. In Nigeria, in recent times, the cost of obtaining forms to run for elective office within political parties has been phenomenal. 1 million times more than the average wage level of the citizenry. Do you not think that not too young to run has become not rich enough to run?
Not rich enough to run. They're just forming that acronym anyway. I think I'm getting that. I'm getting to hear this for the first time. Not rich
But you heard
to
it
run.
first on The Agenda. Not rich enough to run.
Not enough to run. Anyway, anywhere in the world, this is just a simple fact and truth that we must also face. It's a reality that we cannot shy away from. Anywhere in the world, politics is costly. When you want to run politics, the only reason why we attach too much noise or too much encomium on when you see buying forms and the likes is because in the developed world, where we also see people have to spend money. When Obama elected as the president of the United States of America, we all knew You know, he had greatest the nation so ever. He had nations from the citizens. But back here in Nigeria, where we are as citizens, you know, we see people who instead of the masses supporting that we used to have even in the days of our forefathers, people supporting, people coming together to bring money. But these days, the citizen ask you to bring money. So because of this, it becomes more worrisome. Now, coming to your question, that not too
Not
rich
rich
to
enough to run.
contest. Yeah, anybody who is venturing into politics should know that one way or the other you must spend. So if you eventually decide that you want to aspire, you have an aspiration to pursue, you must know you just have to spend some financial muscle into it. So I wouldn't consent to the fact that not rich enough. Not rich enough is not an excuse for the younger generation not to contest. As of today, Southwest has produced the youngest MHR, that's in the Green Chamber in the National Assembly. This person contested from a party probably where he did not even obtain the form. But beyond the process of the inter-party affairs as a primary election, the shadow election within the party, he contested alongside the big political parties in the mainstream election, and he won. He did not he did not won the election in the matter of FOC, that's free of charge. No, he paid the price. He did posters, he did jingles, he did rallies. All of these things are financially inclined. So I'm not going to, you know, admit the fact that because there is not too young to run bill, you now say I'm not too young, not
Not
too
rich
rich
enough.
enough to contest. No, this is present day politics.
Okay, Mr. Lutaya, I need to take you further on this subject matter because there are a lot of brilliant minds. I mean, you have technocrats, you have persons who are sound in their field of endeavor. And for example, a medical doctor in a particular constituency, and he wants to go to the National Assembly and say, you know what, we can get better health care in my constituency. I can get better funding. He feels that he knows he doesn't have the money. He goes into a political party and they tell him, bring X amount of money. That money or that amount is much more than what he earns in 15 years combined together. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. A number of young people do not want such encumbrance upon their reputation, their integrity, and their character. What should young people do? Some people, a lot of young people have stayed away from politics because of the financial dimension it has taken. You made reference to Barack Obama. That was presidential election in the United States of America. What about local government, councillorship, governorship? Let's leave the presidency for now. There are lots of elective offices. If the amount involved is impossible for a legitimate, legal, valid citizen to access, then something must be going on behind the scene. What do you say?
Like, yeah, what I have to say to this is very simple. Over time, year in year, we are seeing different examples that we can always point our attention to of people who had nothing, and yet they they took their time to, you know, to go all out and do the needful and get the masses on their side. And when they went on the platform that were less costlier, and they were able to clinch the political offices they actually desire and did their bit for the masses. The reality is this: the only reason why we keep clamoring that there is no enough money, what they are required for you in some other political party, probably at these big political parties. In Nigeria today, we have over 50 political parties that are registered with the INEC. Yes, and there are some of these parties that would not even ask you for a dime to contest. So sometimes people believe because people have not even done the needful in their immediate environment, they need the big political party to occupy an office. Let me cite an example. You as an individual, in your before you could become a councillor, you must be a member of the ward. Yes, that's the smallest political office you can occupy in Nigeria. Now, in your ward, areas that combined to be a ward probably might be about 2 to 3 or 4 streets, or in some area, you know, you have about 10 streets. Now, those areas are not just streets that come into limelight within a day or within a year. Sometimes these are areas where some were even giving birth to. An area where you were giving birth to, and before you could attain the age of contesting for a councillor, as at today now, you must have been above 25 years old. A place you've stay for 20 good years. And who love to do things for people, and you believe, and when you get that power, that authority, bring dividend democracy. What have you been doing as a private citizen? How have you been effectively, able to your community? All of these things people want to go to offices, want to go represent their people. You cannot just come without, even as a private citizen, you have not done anything. They call you in your street, they call you in your area, probably Dr. Water is no longer to do things, but you have not been responsive. Now you don't really want to go because you've gathered more experience and you feel you have that authority, you can do more. But because if you go to all those smaller microcosm political party, you might not really get it right because people would not vote for you. You want the bigger party, and the bigger party has a lot of things that they have also, that is embedded in them. Before all the big parties that we see today, not just become a big party. There were a lot of processes, a lot of things that conjoin together before their name is being heard, and they become the party that people look up to. So that is just what I have to say on that.
Mr. Oluyi, I am enjoying. I believe firmly that those joining us online, wherever they are, or on all available platforms, can understand your communication, which I find to be quite instructive and robust. You did make mention of something that there are other political parties. But we do know, you and I both are aware of the fact that
Yes.
some political parties exist only every 4 years. Not too young to run. Some political parties exist only every 4 years. Should the young people identify with the parties that show up once every 4 years? And you should be able to do some calculation. If I join a political party at the age of 18 and I am told that time is of the essence for me and that I should just remain, by the time it is my turn, it might be too late. By the time I have gathered enough clout and impression, it might be late. What am I going to do? What is the young person going to do? Because there are some political parties, they exist on paper. They have offices for INEC's validation and verification. Afterwards, you can't even, they don't exist for you to run. They don't exist for you to run. So it's not about not too young to run. They do not exist for you to run. It's not about not rich enough to run. They don't exist for you to run. What will you advise a young person who is watching our broadcast today on that subject matter?
Thank you very much by the young people out there, my colleagues, my contemporaries, and those who fall in my generation but who are older than me. It is not about for at home and continue to say because some political parties that we feel are small exist only pay on paper or come to the to political limelight every 4 years. No activities, nothing to show for. You're right and you're correct, sir. But the thing is this: even the existing political parties, are we joining them? Yes, people complain that there are an adage who says if you can't beat them, you join them. It is not on everything that is realistic that if you can't beat them, you join them. Yeah, the fact remains that all these political parties that are existing today, if you look at the numbers of years, at least as at today in Nigeria, out of all the political parties that we know, the one that is much more familiar with our hearing, if I'm permitted to mention any, was the one of SDP that existed at least and that has been in existence for about since 1991 or thereabout or more.
Yes, in our republic.
Different from all other. Abiola contested under SDP in 1992-3.
Okay.
Are you getting me now?
I get you. No, Mr. Oluyi, hold that thought. I am getting ready. I'm going to be asking you a question connecting to what you're saying. But we need to go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we will continue where we stop with Oluyi Oluyi. It is not too young to run. And this is the agenda. Talk to you soon. A great delight to know that you're still very much with us. This is the agenda in the continuation of our conversation with Oluyi Oluyi. And we are examining the subject of not too young to rule. Oluyi, before we went on our short break, the subject of grassroots mobilization, grassroots politics. You were expounding it. But I need to ask you, what can you say about youth participation in politics starting from the grassroots? You know, you were explaining to us the concept of the ward, the unit. What can you say about young people? What is your recommendation? What is your counsel? What is your advice for young people starting with grassroots, starting from the very base in politicking and politics?
Yeah. So, my thoughts about it is, at the moment we are still very far behind as a young people. We are very, very, very absolutely behind. And why am I saying this? You know, they said politics, all politics is local anywhere in the world, because your locality, you know, is where you are going to start it from. Except you just want to be the normal regular voters who just go once in 4 years, or or whenever there is need for you to vote and cast your vote and go back. But when you really truly want to delve into it, you must localize it, because you cannot be practicing politics where you are not known. It is in your area, your hood, that you must practice politics. So now, where is your hood? Your hood starts from the unit where you vote, to the ward in your local government, and before you now move to the state. But at the moment, our younger generation are not really practicing this, because they are losing interest, and this is where some of us who have alleviated our interest in it are trying to conscientize our younger generation to actually go back home. It's not enough to live in the city of Abuja, or you live in the city of Lagos. You just have to go back home at least once in a while, even if you're not actively there on daily basis, but your presence should be felt via so many things. You just have, whenever you're around, there are some of your colleagues that you just have to meet with, discuss with them, dissect things with them. And beyond that also, you also need to at least once in a while talk about reason why people should be involved. You must go back in your respective areas, even if you have migrated and you're no longer residing there. You must connect with your people. There are associations in your immediate environment where you can join. You need to join them, talk to them, relate with them. There are social platforms today that connect people without even you seeing physically. These are things that our young people should start doing. And before you know it, we really involve and get to the destination that we really truly desire to be.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oluyi. You said something very instructive. All young people should go back to their source. But in certain
Exactly.
parts of Nigeria, I have lived in a state all my life, but I am not from that state. All my life, I have lived in a community and they know me, but I'm not from that state. I am a young person. They saw me grow in that community. How is it that I still have to go to my source? Where I was born is not my state, but that is where I belong. How do you explain this?
Yes,
For young people who,
you
using
know,
Lagos State as an example, let us use Lagos State in Nigeria as an example. There are certain persons who come
yeah,
from a certain part of the country, but they are not even from Lagos State. They understand the nuances. They call where they are from their hood. Everybody in the hood where they are from knows them, but they know that they are not from that state. Because we're talking about the series we're examining on Not Too Young to Run is about education, enlightenment, and empowerment. What will be your advice to young people who, like myself and yourself, who have found themselves in this situation?
yes, wherever you're based in, it does not matter. That what I'm saying in essence is not really referring to people going back to where they actually grew up. The Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria provides that once you spend 10 years in a state, you are automatically entitled to everything that is deemed fit in that state. For example, you are from Edo State and you relocated to Lagos State and you spend 10 years there, you have access you can contest, you can run for an elective position in Lagos State. Vice versa, if you are from Lagos State and you spend 10 years in Ekiti State, you also have that legitimate right constitutionally. So now what I'm saying, in your respective locality, wherever you might be based, this is your base, and you are going to still be here for as long as God lives, then you must participate. How does it start? This thing starts. This is you. Let's assume you live in an area in Lagos called probably Ikorodu or Mushin. Now, in your street, you can just not just restrict yourself to once I get back from work, I'm indoor. In even when truly probably because of situations, you might not be able to mingle with people after work. But on weekends, why don't you mingle with your society, with the society? Talk to them, relate with them, ask what's the development. These are things that our people just need to start conscientizing them and awake their consciousness on the developments around them. It not
Awaken
does not
their
mean you should
consciousness.
go back to their awaken your consciousness matters. Our people, you see younger people today, they are not bothered about governance in their area, not even to talk about their local government, not to talk, somebody who you imagine a younger person of age between the age of 20 to 30 who will tell you, who you ask the person in the local government where you are residing in, who is the local government chairman or where is even your local government headquarter office situated. They are not, these are things that we need to start correcting about about our younger people. We need to awake our consciousness to develop to the governance and development in our environment. Once all of this, once we awaken all of this, the barricade of the younger people not coming into governance would gradually erode. It is not that we are not even having younger people, but the only reality that we must wake up to is as at today, you only have somebody who is young except on a rare occasion. We have a statutory office. Even at the time, it was only a governor in Southwest who broke that jinx, who made a 27-year-old person as a commissioner. Over time, we've always seen 50, 40 something year old person, 50, 60, manning the office of the youth. And you only see youth becoming an SA student or SA youth. That is the only thing with you. The only
But
thing
things
you
are
make
changing
use
right
of the
now.
youth for, they make you.
Things are changing.
Yes, things are changing. It is because of the evolving involvement of the youth, and it is not yet enough.
It is not
Pray
enough
that in
yet.
2020, it is going to, there's
It
going
will
to be a
get better.
turnaround from what we used to have.
All right, Mr.
There's
Oluyi.
going to be a radical departure.
Mr. Oluyi, we're going to go for a short commercial break, and when we return, we will say some things in rounding off. Wherever you are, this is the agenda. We would like to tell you, don't go anywhere. It is getting better. Thank you. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned. This is still the agenda, and we are looking at a subject in our series, Not Too Young to Run. Oluyi has been my special guest. Olutayo, I need to ask you one question before we round off for this session. A lot of politicians have rich backgrounds. They were educated both locally and abroad. Their profile reads who is who, their network. Do you think the young people of this nation have what it takes to lead at different levels, bearing in mind the cost implication of acquiring this pedigree in the present global economy?
The younger generation have what it takes, and we are even much more capable than the older generation. This is it era of technology. I can bet it with you that even professors of 70s and 75 years old today will have to beckon on their child to put them through in even the cell phone that they're putting on. We have the mental capacity. We have what it takes to deliver our nation forward. Nigerian youths are blessed. God has blessed us so much that we cannot be taken backward. I remember the governor in the southwest state, I won't mention the state because of the political party, said openly that I am aging. Somebody of just 63 years old now said openly that this Ondo State now is being run by my child. These are open facts that can be confirmed anyway. And this is a boy of 30 or 31 years old. And this person recently was pronounced by the governor himself, was appointed as the Director General of Project Monitoring Evaluation. That's the highest office that after the governor, that's the next person in governance. And this person is subjected to ratify everything that is done in Ondo State, from the Ministry of Culture to Agriculture to Health to Finance, name it. So that's to tell you that, and by His grace, the state is doing fine. We are not doing bad. The state that I'm mentioning. So the younger generation have what it takes. to match and when they take position of authority to take the nation forward. These are an era of technology at which you need technology to drive a lot of things. In the developed world, people are driving the economy of those developed world with technology. And who are those who have the mental
The
to
young
actually
people.
man?
The young people.
So
Olutayo.
youths,
Olutayo Oluyi, I am grateful.
thank you.
I appreciate your presence. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your contribution. Your generation celebrates you as I celebrate you. Wherever you are that you have been joining us on this broadcast, my name is Abiodun Famujuro. This is The Agenda. And please note, you can connect with us on our various social media platforms displayed on the screen. You can engage us. We value your feedback. We look forward to hearing from you. O God of creation, direct our noble course. Till I come your way next time, stay tuned and continue to make impact wherever you find yourself. The future is now. Bye for now.